to Gambling with an Edge with your hosts Bob Dancer and Richard Munchkin. Bob Dancer is America's premier video poker writer and teacher. He's written 10 books, including Video Poker for the Intelligent Beginner and the best-selling $1 Million Video Poker. He helped develop the computer software Video Poker for Winners, and in 2004 he was inducted into the Video Poker Hall of Fame. Richard Munchkin has been a professional advantage player for over 30 years and is in the Blackjack Hall of Fame. His book, Gambling Wizards, Conversations with the World's Greatest Gamblers, is a testament to the many ways you can succeed at gambling. The goal of the show is that you'll be a more knowledgeable gambler tomorrow than you were yesterday. And now, here are Bob and Richard.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Gambling with an Edge. My name is Bob Dancer.
And I'm Richard Munchkin.
We have two guests today, both of whom publish gambling information. Jeffrey Compton publishes CDC Gaming Reports, which is addressed primarily to casino management. Darryl McEwen publishes 7-Star Insider, which is primarily of interest to total rewards players. Jeffrey won the coin flip, so we're going to talk to him first. Jeffrey Compton, welcome to Gambling with an Edge.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
There's always a variety of gaming topics to talk about. We try to pick the ones most interesting to players. Now, first, the Mohegan Sun in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. A player, a cocktail waitress, and a casino executive are accused of ripping off players for more than $400,000. How is this alleged to have been done, Jeffrey?
First, they didn't quite rip off. It's not clear if they ripped off players. Okay? What they did was, and they're still researching this, and I even have one of our writers doing a lot of research to write an article on this. It was the cocktail waitress. Now, here's a point. It wouldn't have happened in here because you don't give your player's card, at least I've never have, to get a free drink in a casino, but in Pennsylvania, you got to get your player's card and it comes off your benefits or points or depending on the level of the player's card.
And your PIN number.
And your PIN number.
That's a key part of this.
Yes. Which here, you just, they give you the free drink. So what had happened was she was getting information. She was keeping the information on the player's accounts and the PIN number, of which she would give to the high-level casino executive, who would then use the information to
create a duplicate card
and put free play on.
So he would add free play on.
He would, from what I understand, he would add free. Did you understand it differently, Bob?
I read it once, whether he added free play or whatever balance they had.
I don't think that he didn't. A lot of the players I deal with know how much free play is on their account. So if it vanished, they would have said something.
Well, I actually have some friends who claim exactly that has happened to them at a station property.
At a station, lost a free play. Okay.
Yeah. So
what I'm saying is that this went on for a year. They stole over $400,000 from what I'm saying, they would load the cards up with free play, and then they would give them to the player of the team, who would then play off the free play through the machines, and of course they'd split the winnings and all this nonsense. So, but so I don't know if the players were ripped off, but it does make a point that you should try to keep track of your free play and your points and all this sort of thing.
Did they say how they were caught?
Yes. She was in the middle of the waitress was had another boyfriend in the casino who she confided into, and he got jealous and he reported them all.
Oh. Uh-huh. The old jealous boyfriend.
Romance triangle. So, but it's another example how, employee theft, and this is not the only, we hear about cases like this about once a month, and where employee theft is a much bigger deal than the casual Advantage player, you know.
Well, Advantage players aren't so casual. But in addition to employee theft, there's, like at the Gold Coast, points disappear, not because employees are stealing them, but because their player tracking system is inadequate. And so they
I worried about that because
that just evaporates. So if you don't know your balance, and if you don't write it down, now if you were there yesterday, you have a pretty good idea.
Now, is that true of all the Boyd casinos, or
that
just
was the one I experienced it most at?
See, I've been concerned at Gold Coast because at Ping Pang Pong, when you pay with points, you have to put in your PIN number to use your points, and the girl behind the cashier is standing right there while you enter your PIN number. So, in theory, it could happen.
I think it's also I've gotten into arguments with Bob on this, but to leave a lot of points unredeemed in an account, you are asking for a problem. Now, if you have a good reason, you have a good, sensible reason to do this, and
there are a lot of good reasons,
right? But think about what those good reasons are. I have never been of the belief that leaving a lot of points in your accounts gets you better offers from the casino. Maybe you've had a different experience, but
if I'm ahead 50,000 in January and I still have 20,000 of points on my cards, if I withdraw those 20,000 this year, I pay taxes on those.
Well,
however,
that's
if
a good
I put
reason.
it to next year,
next
year might be a losing year.
Yeah, that's a good reason. But also remember, is you keep on top of it. You keep on top of the situation very well. So,
all right, let's move on to something else.
Okay.
Because speaking of romance, this next topic seems ripe for double entendres and one-liners. A horny couple thought it was a good idea to get it on while riding on the high roller Ferris wheel in Las Vegas. They were in a empty car, and they thought it was,
which are quite common on that ride, yes.
And they thought they had some expectation of privacy. Now, with loudspeaker, they said, "Put your clothes back on, stop smoking," which they did for a while. That they couldn't hold back anymore, so they finished the act and got to meet a couple of Metro police officers at the bottom of the high roller,
who charged them with a felony.
So, which
felony? Wow, really?
So, sex in public apparently is a felony in Nevada, which is a huge surprise to me. Now, is this a big deal, Jeffrey? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? What?
Every time either one of them applies for a job, now they might get it written down to disturbing the peace, okay?
Yeah.
But every time they apply for a job, a mortgage, a security clearance to attend a party, I don't mean at the White House, but a security clearance that's sometimes required to attend an event, that's going to follow them, okay? If they apply for certain volunteer work, that's going to follow them the rest of their lives.
Is this a sex offender charge, too?
It's not a sex offender charge, but it's on their record.
Sure, yeah.
Okay? And I wish people, I think that what happens in Vegas, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas is a great line. It is not true. You can do stuff in this town that you wouldn't think of doing back home that's going to follow you.
Yeah.
And usually liquor or pot is involved. Okay, and I mean, if you need a better saying that works, that's more appropriate for this situation, it's like beauty fades, dumb as forever.
Somebody suggested, maybe on an online post, that the actually high roller could actually start advertising this. Have one or two of their cars set up with darkened windows and
maybe some curtains, and bed,
and some.
Now, do you want it after the last couple?
Well, you do need a maid service, and there's going to be an extra charge for this, but that can be thrown in. So I don't know. They seem to need to find customers somewhere.
Now, what's really funny, okay, is. You say this couple was stopped the first time, Okay. Obviously, there's a security camera. And knowing there's a security camera, they still went ahead.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they're not as shy as you, Jeffrey. Let's go on. Parking charges at the MGM. Now, we've mentioned a couple times on this show, free parking has been a hallmark of Las Vegas forever. Now, this may end. What does your crystal ball tell you, Jeffrey, about whether this will end up being a good move or a disaster for the MGM?
First, MGM did admit, Jim Murren, during an interview, the head of MGM, did admit that they were a little surprised by the backlash. I'm surprised they were surprised, but you never know. But my guess is, and they have put the parking facilities out to a third party to manage. Okay, if the parking facilities are kept up first rate, okay, or improved, however they could be improved, okay, but if they run first rate parking facilities and they're kept in tip-top shape and they make the process of free parking to the player extremely user-friendly. Okay, it doesn't involve standing in some huge line in the casino to get it stamped. Come up with some mechanism for it. I think they'll get away with it. And then you'll see others following them. But the main thing is people have to feel that, why are you charging me? Well, I'm getting a better parking, more automated, easier to find a free spot, that sort of thing. And the other thing is or better security, whatever.
Or maybe you can drive 10 miles an hour instead of only 8.
And what happens in Vegas doesn't it? And also, I assume that players are comped. Their parking will be comped. So,
well, I think you can use points, which means. Yeah, they're comped,
but downtown
it's
comped. Downtown, you don't use points. Downtown, the parking
is comped. But the MGM
is
talking about you have to use some of your accumulated points.
Oh, wow. That's ridiculous.
That won't work.
Yeah, and what about the hotel guests, right? I mean, I would be pissed if I was paying for parking if I'm paying to stay in the hotel.
I bet you that'll vanish, too.
And eat at restaurants. I mean, there are certain events that you should be able to go to.
Yes, what I'm saying is they're going to feel out on this.
Yeah.
Which is the other casinos, the advantage to the other casinos is they have somebody, they have a bird in the coal mine, okay, called the MGM that will tell them what works and what doesn't.
Right.
And if this works, you expect it to see all over Vegas, and if it doesn't work...
You'll see places like Caesars, okay, or the other multi-casinos. MGM Mirage and Caesars are pretty much it. Venetian, places like that, they'll start charging. But expect the smaller casinos that are unaffiliated, the Tropicana, okay, to suddenly offer free parking unless they get a lot of people parking there or going someplace else. But
which, with the new arena, that's definitely likely to happen.
Possibility. But I could see Treasure Island offering free parking. Okay, and so we'll see how it feels out.
Okay, it sounds to me like this is like resort fees, where somebody tried it, it works, and now there's a resort fee everywhere, which are typically comped to their better.
Do you know the main motivation to create resort fees?
Well, if it's
increase revenue without
appearing
to raise the price. So if it was a 79,
it was the online hotel comparison services. You go online and see the prices on the comparison services, and in order to keep that price down, the resort fee was basically born.
Yeah.
That's where it came from.
All right, moving on again. After the Super Bowl, still while on CBS. For people who haven't flipped channels yet, President Obama was a guest on the late night show with Stephen Colbert. And he made a joke about he always calls the winning team, and maybe he'll call the losing team too if he made a bet on them. Now, this is the president joking about betting on sports. Jeffrey, is this a big deal?
In my opinion, it is, for several reasons. One, is there any other miscellaneous victimless crime that you could make that joke about. Prostitution? No. Casual drug use? No. Misuse of medical marijuana? No. Okay? So there's very few. Here is the President of the United States making light of breaking an illegal law. Okay? The reason that Prohibition ended was because the vast majority of people were breaking the law, including the governor of New York, whose name was Franklin Roosevelt, admitted that they served cocktails in the governor's mansion. So when he became president, Prohibition was kicked out. It was also to spur the economy out of the Depression. So here is it. This happens at the same time the AGA is making a major effort to legalize sports gaming and publicizing how widespread illegal gaming is. So now one thing that we should clarify, office pools are, assuming that there's no money kept by one person to organize it, are not illegal. Okay? In a bar, if I'm at a bar and I'm not the owner of the bar, and I have a private pool going, and I'm not making any money on it, I'm just, for the fun of the event, that's not illegal. Okay? Or in most states, it's not illegal.
It's not a federal crime, but it is certainly, they've had card games at Elks Club that have been determined to be illegal.
Yes, but what I'm saying is it depends on, is there a house? Is the house making any money? Or, so what I'm saying is I think it just adds the fuel to the topic. And the AGA picked up on this immediately, and said that the president was, making light of sports gambling.
Yeah, I think it's just inevitable, and the president knows it, and I disagree with you. I think it's almost time where he could make a marijuana joke too. That seems inevitable within the next, probably as soon as sports gambling is legal, I think marijuana will be legal.
You probably know more about that than I do.
Well, I don't know about that, but I think both those things are inevitable.
Yeah.
All right, now we got about 2 minutes before we go to Darryl McEwen. The governor of Florida is talking about expanding gambling there. What's going on?
Well, he has made a deal with the Seminoles, where the state gets several $1 billion of revenue,
like 3.
Yeah, and that the Seminoles will be able to keep their blackjack, add craps and roulette, which is they don't really care about that much, but they'll expand they're going to expand the Hard Rock in both Hollywood and Tampa, where they almost have a monopolistic situation, and employ a bunch of more people. And so Governor Scott's pushing this through the legislature. Now, there isn't a bill yet even. Okay, so this is going very slowly through the legislature because the northern parts feel cheated. Okay, and the racetracks feel cheated. Now, one racetrack realized that under the old 1980 settlements or something, they could add jai and poker and a few things. And in the settlement, it does allow them more room to add slots, I believe. But in the settlement with Scott. But it's still a case. Now, I'm going to do a shameless plug. Okay?
Go ahead.
Okay. Our site has hired as a writer Nick Sortel, who is the leading Florida writer on this situation. So we are running, when there's news to tell or developments, we are running in the commentary section a full update.
And this is CDC Gaming Reports.com.
Yes. And so, but he's joined our team about 2 months ago.
Very good. All right. Thank you, Jeffrey. We're now going to talk to our second guest. Jeffrey's going to stick around and may have something to add to the conversation. Maybe not. We shall see. Darryl McEwen is a recreational gambler. He's also a former professional journalist. He's president of his own consulting firm that manages several small national and international trade associations, and he provides public relations fundraising services for a number of organizations. Darryl McEwen, welcome to Gambling with an Edge.
Thank you, Bob.
Your 7starinsider.com site also covered the couple, so I told you I would take that line out. All right. Was there anything Jeffrey said today that you wanted to comment on before we go on to your section?
Well, we're going to get into some benefits for Total Rewards, and one of them I was going to talk about was parking. So if we could just maybe defer that till we get to that later in the conversation, I think it might make a little more sense.
Okay.
I want to talk about the parking charges in some of the urban areas that Total Rewards has casinos, like Cleveland and Cincinnati, and of course in Atlantic City, where parking charges are been there for probably forever. I don't know, but that's something I thought maybe we would just hit later, if that's okay.
Okay. So, and are you going to tell us how you can get a 7 Stars can get a comp to get it on the high roller? Do you know how to do that? Is that going to be in the benefits? Maybe
I'll
not.
work on that.
All right, good. Now, there are various ways to earn reward credits. You can earn them by playing, using certain credit cards, purchasing items from certain vendors, etc. But the points expire. If your account is inactive for 6 months, your reward credits evaporate. Now, I had a $100 voucher left over from last year's 7-star dinner, and Bonnie and I spent it at the Paris Buffet February 5th. I needed an extra $20 over and above the voucher to get what we wanted, so I paid with reward credits. Later, I saw that online that my 6-month period has now extended to August 5th, which is 6 months from when we went to the buffet. So my question is, what extended my reward credits 6 months? Was it the cashing the voucher, or was it spending $20 reward credits?
It was spending the $20 that extended your reward credit's expiration date. As you said, you need to earn at least one reward credit before your current reward credit balance expiration date. And spending that dollar at a participating restaurant will earn you that one reward credit. However, you lucked out. Technically, that $20 should have been in cash or charged to a credit card. Sometimes the way the payment is entered by the cashier triggers a quote-unquote double dip. In other words, the system sees that you spent $20, so you got credit for that purchase, but I wouldn't always count on this in the future. So, there are other ways, as you pointed out, the credit card, the Total Rewards Visa, there's making purchases through their e-catalog. You can earn tier credits, obviously, the old-fashioned way by playing slots and video poker or table games. Or for those people who are into social gaming, you can purchase at least $5 in virtual coins by playing any of those TR social games on Facebook, something I've never done. So there are other options. I have a links page on the homepage of my website, which is 7starinsider.com, and it's an easy way to navigate the oftentimes confusing Total Rewards website. And two of the links are ways to earn and redeem reward credits and ways to earn tier credits. So there's a good way to find out what the various procedures are in those cases.
You mentioned the TR Visa card. Is that something worth getting? Is there a big sign-up bonus in terms of points given for signing up for that card?
Not really. It gives you an automatic upgrade to platinum status, and many of the individual casinos around the country have their own promotions. For instance, in my neighborhood here, Harrah's Philadelphia, I believe is giving you an automatic $50 comp at one of their restaurants if once you sign up for the Total Rewards Visa and you're approved. There have been promotions also to comp room in Atlantic City. And I see things on Twitter about the promotions that other casinos around the country are doing to help promote this card. But I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to them because I don't play in some of those Midwest casinos and I'm not familiar with it. But if you're going to spend a lot of money, if that's your only credit card, you can rack up some substantial points. I just have an airline credit card. I tend to just have one, and I don't for me, it isn't of value. But for some people, it's a good deal.
And just using that credit card once every 6 months will keep your points if you haven't been playing.
Yeah, and because I think they post to your account within 5 to 7 days or something like that after your charges, and you pay your bill and your charge clears. So yeah, it's a good safe way to make sure you don't lose any of your points.
Is there a fee for the card?
I don't believe so. No.
All right, let's move on to something else. Aspiration levels 1 or 2, last year called Diamond Aspirations. You get them if you get 40,000 tier credits, you get the 1, and 80,000 tier credits, you get the 2nd. Now, part of redeeming those is $5,000 tier credits next year. I actually redeemed my level 2 award last year, but I never redeemed level 1. But I still received 5,000 tier credits for each of them. Now, the rules say I have until the end of May to complete my 2015 aspiration level. If I do I get another 5,000 tier credits next year?
Unfortunately, no. No redemption was actually necessary to get that additional 5,000 or 10,000 tier credits in January. It was just automatically added to the accounts of anyone who earned 40,000 or 80,000 tier credits, respectively, last year. So no, redeeming your level 1 award next month will add nothing further to your score. But in order to get another 5,000 or 10,000 tier credits added next January, you just need to earn 40,000 or 80,000 tier credits this year. It's the exact same program. The only thing that will change is I think for the level 1, you got a $50 credit to play online on Caesars.com's online gaming system, but you had to be in New Jersey. It was a real pain to redeem it, and so I think they felt that it just wasn't worth it to offer that this year. So that's the only thing that's different.
For those of us who have not been in a Harrah's recently, okay, or Caesars, could you remind everyone what is required to earn tier credits?
Sure. Basically, for regular video real slots, it's $5 in gets you one tier credit. It's $10 for video poker. Now, as you gentlemen who play video poker know, there are some machines now that require up to $25, sometimes $50, and there are actually some slot machines, real slot machines, that also have some accelerated earning requirements. So you do that, and then once you hit 4,000 tier credits, you get what's called the platinum card. The entry-level card is a gold card, which anybody can get, and then 4,000 tier credits gets you platinum, 15,000 gets you diamond, and then 150,000 gets you 7 stars.
And there's also bonuses along the way if you play.
Yeah, and the best way to do it is take advantage of the bonuses. I mean, the first bonus kicks in at 500 tier credits. In other words, if you earn 500 tier credits in a gaming day, now in Las Vegas, Atlantic City, that's 6 in the morning till 5:59 the next morning, but it does vary in jurisdictions. You get 125 tier credit bonus. If you hit 1,000 in one day, you get an additional 1,000. If you go up to 2,500 in a day, you get an additional 5,000. And then if you hit 5,000, you get an additional 10,000. So I always advise people, and I try to do it myself, is if I'm going to play, I want to make sure that I'm going to be around long enough to at least hit 1,000 and hopefully 2,500. So I walk out with 7,500 tier credits, but I've really only earned, technically, 2,500. And, you can even make a better day of it if you find a multiplier for reward credits, and then you really hit the jackpot.
All right. Caesars is in bankruptcy, has been for a long time. Now, when casinos operate under bankruptcy conditions, it's customary to get new managers who will make numerous cost savings. Seems like Caesars has done that by hiring executives from Hertz Corporation. Now, what are the changes to Total Rewards program in 2016 compared to 2015?
Well, I can't say whether the following were driven by the bankruptcy, but here are some changes which come to mind. First, the program year, the time period for claiming the benefits you earned from your play in 2015 has changed. Again, let me just clarify for people: you earn points in a calendar year. In other words, January 1 to December 31st, and then you're earning benefits that kick in the following year. So previously, the new year began April 1st and ended March 31st of the following year. But for 2016 and beyond, the program year is February 1st through January 31st. So basically, you lose 2 months this first year of the switch. So that's the biggest change.
No, I think you gained 2 months.
Not really, because everything that in other words, you would, if you earned 7 stars or diamond for your play in 2015, you'd get the first 3 months under the old program anyway, or whenever you started, whenever you got those tier credits. But then we'd get a full 12 months from April 1st to March 31st. Mm-hmm. Now those benefits are going to expire on January 31st. So you're really losing 2 months this first year.
Okay.
Was there any justification given by the casino when they did that?
No, I think they just wanted to have the amount of time from the time you earned a certain tier level and its benefits to kick in sooner. Most of the other player reward programs that I'm familiar with or I participate in, admittedly, they don't offer all of the benefits that Total Rewards does. You move right into it the following day. In other words, if they're working on a calendar year and you get the requisite number of points by December 31st, the new year starts January 1st, or if it's on an anniversary date, again, it kicks in the next day. Mm-hmm. So there was always this 3-month lag from the time that you earned the benefits to the time that you could start taking advantage of them. I mean, you were officially 7. In other words, if you earned 7 stars in November 30th, you became 7 stars as soon as you were approved, and you had those benefits up through March 31st of the next year, and then your full year of benefits would kick in on April 1st. So yeah, you're really losing too. Those people who, everybody, even if you are renewing or if you're a newbie.
All right, so you said there were several changes, so I guess we've been through one of them.
Well, second, for 7 Stars cardholders, there were various benefits associated with hotel stays. There was never anything in writing, save a vague reference I can recall to the quote-unquote movie benefit in some older versions of the 7 Stars rules and regulations. But some properties gave cardholders unlimited in-room movies, some a limited number of free movies per day, others gave 1 movie per day, and still others limited it to 1 movie per stay. Some properties moved to immediate credit, as it was called, $35 or $45 a day. So this left cardholders to determine how they wanted to spend it. They could use it all on movies, or split it between internet access and movies, or just use it for internet. But starting February 1st, the policy is consistent among all properties. It's 1 movie per day. So for some people, they're not happy with it because they would watch 2 or 3 movies perhaps in a day. But for the majority of people, it's
why go to a casino to watch 6 hours of movies?
I'm sure may allow more, but they have to allow at least 1 movie per day. Or a host might comp any movies over and above the 1 per day. But basically, when you check in, you know what the official policy is. And I always, again, advise people, if this is something that's important to you, inquire when you check in. Is there any difference in the policy if I look at 2 movies in one day? Will I have to pay for 1? And I don't think that's going to be an issue for most people.
Bob was asking why people would, go to Vegas to rent 3 movies in a day, and the answer is children. While you're in the casino,
or guests, one half of a couple may be the gambler, and the other, may have no interest in gambling and wants to do shopping or do in-room movies or catch up on the latest first-run movies. And the same as Jeffrey says, children. One couple I know who contacted me about this and were very upset. They have grandchildren, and they have a big family reunion every year in Las Vegas, and the kids would enjoy watching 3 or 4 movies a day, and so that's going to add up for a family like that. But again, for the majority of people I know, the movie thing, I think probably in my 8 or 9 years as a 7 Stars card holder, I've watched 2 or 3 movies, and that's about it. So it's not an issue for me, but it will be for some people, I'm sure. Anything else you guys want to on that? I'll move on to some more if you want.
What's interesting is the financial statements of those casinos that I am privy to. In-room movies is one thing that in-room movie income has been dropping considerably because of streaming.
Oh, yeah, people bring their laptop and
laptop or iPad, so and even figure out how to connect it to the television. So it's not.
Yeah.
All right. What's the next change, Darryl?
Okay, well, related to this, I mentioned earlier about the media credit and internet and so forth. Internet access, that portion of it is no longer an issue because properties that impose a resort fee, which generally includes internet access for up to 2 devices, will continue to waive that fee for 7 Stars and Diamond card holders. The difference this year is that Diamond card holders not only get the fee waived, as they did last year, but now they'll get all the benefits associated with the fee. So that includes complimentary internet, access to the fitness center, free local calls, things of that nature. But, again, keep in mind, these benefits may differ depending on the property. Also, some properties without a resort fee already give some or all of their guests free internet access, as well as access to the fitness center and other benefits. But for those that don't, those benefits will continue to be complimentary for 7 Stars and Diamond card holders. And then on to the parking issue that was discussed earlier. As I mentioned, certain urban casinos like those in Cleveland and Cincinnati and Baltimore, during certain hours or during special events, and the casinos in Atlantic City all charge for parking. In Atlantic City, there's a charge for parking unless you have a 7 Stars, Diamond, or Platinum card. If you don't, you can earn 25 tier credits while you're in the garage, and your parking is comped. Or if you spend $75 at a participating restaurant in the casino, you get a certificate that gives you complimentary parking. Baltimore and those Ohio casinos waive the fee for 7 Stars and Diamond card holders and others who meet certain play requirements. But again, unless there's a big special event, and I'm thinking about Baltimore because it's right next to a big stadium, and on days when there are football games, obviously they're not going to offer free parking to everybody because people would park there just as you're talking about in Las Vegas at the arena, and then they'll just walk to the stadium. It's not that far. So those are the days when they'll impose a parking fee, but it won't be charged to Diamond and 7 Stars card holders. And some of those casinos have senior days, like every Wednesday they'll give free parking if you're 55 and over. So there are ways around paying the fee. In Atlantic City, Golden Nugget, for instance, waives the fee for everybody for self-parking. There's a charge for valet parking, and they use it as a marketing tool. Come park here for free. You don't pay $5 or $10 like you would at some of the other casinos in town.
All right.
And then 2 changes which really have nothing to do with cutting costs, but I think they're worth noting. Diamond aspirations are now known simply as aspirations. Many hosts in particular seem to have been confused about the eligibility of 7 Stars card holders when it came to those benefits, because it sounded like these were benefits that were exclusively for Diamond card holders. However, anyone who earns more than 39,999 tier credits during a calendar year is eligible for those level 1 benefits at 40,000 tier credits and the level 2 at 80,000. Second, the deadline for booking those aspirations benefits and the signature experiences, which are the next level up after you get 7 Stars, you earn another 100,000 tier credits, and you start getting these signature experience credits. Those booking deadlines are now January 31st, 2017, just like all of the other benefits when they expire. Previously, you had until May 31st of the year following the period in which you earned these. So any experience credits or aspirations benefits you earned during 2015, as Bob mentioned, you have until May 31st to book them, and then you still have to use them by June 30th. And you'll still have to use them by June 30th in subsequent years, but now everything has to be booked and in some cases completed by January 31st. So it just, I think, makes the date consistent with everything else and simplifies the program and makes it less confusing. And God knows the program is confusing enough for people.
One of the nice features about your 7-star newsletter, 7starsinsider.com, is our calendars, where each of the various things that expire you have it listed in a different color, so you can tell at a glance how long something's good for, and that is extremely useful because it's a very confusing system.
I'll tell you, that is the most frequently downloaded chart from the website, and probably gets the most views because it does, I think, simplify the program. I'm not sure why Total Rewards doesn't do this or come up with a better system because, and especially this year for the transition, anybody who looks at those calendars will notice there actually are 3 calendars because it's different for somebody who was 7 stars last year, for instance, but didn't renew this year, somebody who made 7 stars at some point during last year and will now continue to be 7 stars, and for someone who is continuing as a 7 stars card holder. So this year is extremely confusing to people, and the calendars, I think, do help explain the various deadlines.
Well, the reason they don't make it clear is because it's not to their interest to have people redeem the benefits of the program.
Exactly.
Seems clear. All right. Tell me if the following is true. For a given amount of play, hosts are far more generous with their comps if you have few or no reward credits in your account. And if this is true, doesn't this make sense to cash in your reward credits and hence be eligible for more comps?
Well, I've heard this, but I'll be honest, I have no first-hand experience. I also think this applies mainly to what I'll call power gamblers. Folks who head out to Las Vegas, for instance, with a big bankroll and spend most of their waking moments in the casino. They arrive with few or no reward credits in their account, charge gift shop purchases, meals, drinks to their room, then expect the host to pick up any charges over what they earned during their visit. However, this can be a double gamble. I mean, your play may not warrant these additional comps for some reason, or the casino just refuses to pick them up. For many of us, we travel to Las Vegas, see some shows, enjoy some great meals, sightsee, visit friends, then spend a few hours in the casino. Gaming is not the primary reason for the trip. So this tactic isn't going to work for me or for people like me. Also, depleting your reward credits isn't going to help you in a scenario like this, and this is a true example. I live, as many of you know, in Wilmington, Delaware. I have friends in Washington, D.C., and we decide to meet halfway in Baltimore, and I take them to lunch at the Horseshoe. Well, I don't have much of a history there when it comes to play, so no host is going to offer to comp my $200 lunch if I have no reward credits. Similarly, if I'm in Atlantic City, staying at the Borgata, and I meet friends for dinner at Caesars, I can't expect a dinner comp, to cover my share of the bill. And as I said, I think the last time I was on the show, that's the whole point of Total Rewards or M Life or many of the player loyalty programs. You know in advance how many comps you're earning for your play and at what rate, and then you bank them and you use them as you see fit, and it's like a bank account. If your checking account shows that you've got $1,000 and your bills for the month total up to $1,300, then you're going to be overdrawn by $300, and nobody's going to probably bail you out. Occasionally, I think a host would bail you out, let's say on a small amount, but I wouldn't take a chance unless you're, as I say, a super big player who has a good relationship perhaps with a host and who's done this in the past successfully.
Well, the people on listeners to our show are in the habit of finding ways to get $1,300 in benefits if they only have $1,000. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what we specialize in.
Sure. Total Rewards, though, my understanding is that they're really clamping down on hosts who do this, and they really want people to earn Total Rewards points, reward credits, and spend them as they've earned them, and no more. I've heard people who have done this successfully, as I said, but after a couple of times, the host will say, "Well, gee, my boss is not looking too favorably on this, and we're going to have to stop doing this for a while." So again, it's a gamble. Take a chance if you're willing. But as I say, in some circumstances, it's just not going to work if there's no play involved. If you're playing at a local casino, or especially you're just using it for a meal, where you're not intending to do any play either that day or perhaps in the past.
Jeffrey, did you have something to comment?
Yes. Did I hear that you play at other casinos?
Yes.
Non-Caesars, Harrah's casinos.
Yes, exactly.
Why?
I like variety. I like to be able to go to different restaurants. I enjoy the atmosphere at different places. My last trip to Las Vegas, which was a little over a week ago, I split it between a stay at Aria and a stay at Paris. I had offers from both casinos, and I was able to use them that way because a stay was required as part of what I was getting. But I just like the variety. The games are basically the same. As Bob knows, I'm just a dumb slot player. But so the games are the same wherever you play, pretty much. But I just like the different atmosphere. I don't like to go to the same place all the time. I know several people who have almost a standing reservation at the same casino every weekend or every other weekend, and this would just drive me nuts. I like the variety.
How do you feel about the M Life system as opposed to the Total Rewards?
Well, what I like about M Life is the higher you go, and I'm a platinum player. I'm not the noir, which is like the 7 stars of M Life. Is that the higher you get in their program, that your tier credit and your comp dollar earnings increase. So I think as a platinum player, I earn 30% more than someone who's at a lower level or just starting off. And I find MGM to be very generous in terms of offers that not only include free play, but also include resort dollars. So I very seldom even have to tap into my comp dollars because the offers come in and they're all inclusive. Another thing I like about MGM is I may get an offer once a quarter, but it's a room, many times a suite. It's sometimes limo transportation. It includes show tickets. It includes free play. It includes a resort credit. And I have essentially 3 months to use it. I get bombarded by offers from Las Vegas, Caesars properties, and you got to come during a certain 2-day period. You got to come and you get you're not going to get a toaster. I can't think of a good example right now. Tickets to Celine Dion or something like that. But they're very limited offers, and I like the flexibility that M Life presents me. And some of the casinos in Atlantic City I play at, their reward programs are not nearly as generous as Total Rewards. But again, I just like the atmosphere. I love the Borgata. I like the restaurants there. They're very generous, I think, in their comp policy. So again, it's just a variety. I gamble for the whole experience. For me, it's more than just going in and playing the slots. I want to, I live 15 minutes from Harrah's Philadelphia, but I'll drive 90 minutes to Harrah's Atlantic City because I want to stay overnight. I want to be able to have a couple of cocktails and not worry that I'm going to get pulled over for buzz driving or drunk driving. I'm at one place. I can go around. I can hit several casinos if I want while I'm staying down there. It's just the whole experience.
Very good. We're talking to Darryl McEwen of the 7 Stars Insider newsletter. We're going to take a brief break, and then we're going to come back and ask Darryl a little bit about his website. South Point has more than 10,000 games, returning more than 99%. This is more than anybody else has. Big promotion at South Point in February is for locals who already get mailers. You pick up your regular mailer Monday through Wednesday of each week, and if you do, you qualify for an equal-sized award on the Friday or Saturday of the same week. Pick up all 8 of those, and you get a large amount on February 29th. Free video poker class tomorrow, double bonus Ultimate X at noon in the Grandview Lounge. This is a 10 coin per line game where every scoring hand gives you multipliers for the next game. Optimal strategy takes into consideration both the return of a present hand and what the bonuses you'll be earning on the next hand. Everyone at least 21 years old is welcome. At the Palms, from now until the end of April, they have drawings every Friday and Saturday night at 7:15. You must be present to win. 5 winners get prizes ranging up to $2,500 for a total prize of $5,000, and each gets a chance in a $1 million match game. They will not give away more than $1 million in a night. So if 2 of you make it, you have to share. But it's 15,504 to 1 that you're going to hit it, so maybe 2 won't hit it in the same night. PFP, play for prizes until February 26th. You earn Lowe's gift cards. Cards are redeemed at a rate of 0.2% up to $190 per day. You keep the points. You can earn and redeem them Monday through Friday only. Throughout February, Palms is having a Match Your Status promotion. If you have a premium status at any other casino, the Palms will match it. If you get upgraded to MVP status, you get $20 in free play. If you get upgraded to Hall of Famer status, you get $40 of free play. One advantage to higher status is the price you pay for buffet. Hall of Famers get 75% off the buffet. So if you have a 7 Stars card or the top card at one of the other casinos, you can start getting big discounts. If you already have the Hall of Famer card, bringing in a 7-star card won't buy you anything. Videopoker.com is the best place to play a variety of games. If you sign up for the Gold membership, $8.95 a month or $79.95 a year, this allows you to get corrections on most of the games. The game of the week is Multi-Strike. This is a 4-line game where you pay for all 4 lines up front. 20 coins. If you lose on the bottom line, the game is over and you've lost the 20 coins invested. If you at least break even, you get to play the second line for double the stakes with no additional wager required. If you score on the first and second line, you play the third line 4 times the stakes, and if you score there, you get the top line at 8 times the stakes. Periodically, you get free rides, which moves you up to the next level, whether you score on the current level or not. Proper strategy for each of the 4 lines is different, as you need to take consideration the value of moving up. I'm teaching the Jacks Are Better version of this game next week, February 24th, which is 8 days from when we're first airing this show. You might want to check it on videopoker.com first to get a feel for how the multipliers work. All right. We got 1 minute left, and we have to save some time for Richard. So that we need a 30-second answer from you, Darryl McEwen. Your 7-Star Insider newsletter's primary of interest to 7 Stars player. How would it be useful to a diamond player in the total reward system?
Well, this month's newsletter, for instance, has an item about earning 50 tier credits during a gaming day in Las Vegas and getting a comp buffet. The promotion runs through March 31st. This offer is available to anyone with a total rewards card. However, I never saw any emails, mailings, or signage promoting this. I literally stumbled upon it last month while I was in Las Vegas when I was walking through Planet Hollywood and spotted it on the screen of a promotional kiosk. So there are a number of benefits that are on that website that are published first in the newsletter that can save people some money. There's a 20% discount for any total rewards cardholder at Hex over at Paris. Hex, H-E-X-S, the restaurant. And these are all on the site, so I always encourage people.
Thank you, Darryl McEwen from 7 Stars Insider. Sorry we had to cut you off. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, Richard. Go out and hit lots of royal flushes, everybody. Good day.
You've been listening to Gambling with an Edge with your hosts, Bob Dancer and Richard Munchkin. Subscribe to the show in iTunes, and episodes will be delivered to you automatically every week. Archived versions of past shows may be found at bobdancer.com and richardmunchkin.com. We welcome emails at gamblingwithanedge@gmail.com. Bob Dancer and Richard Munchkin are both available on Facebook and welcome your questions. The sponsors for the show are the South Point Hotel, Casino and Spa, the M Resort, the Palms Casino Resort, and the website videopoker.com. Join us again next week for another Gambling with an Edge.
Views and opinions expressed on this program were those of the hosts and guests and did not necessarily reflect those of Vegas All Net Radio, its affiliates, or its parent company.